Hi, welcome back to my YouTube tutorials. This is ABN Graphics. Yes, on this particular tutorial, I am here to guide you on how to design a cloth material or cloth fabric design in Photoshop. You know, when you look at a Corel Draw and Adobe Illustrator, those kind of apps or software is best for doing this because it has some kind of magic where you can do some kind of pattern on it, and it will look very good and you can use it very well. You get that? But on this one, as a Photoshop expert on this, I'm going to guide you through how to come up with a shape, and with that particular shape you can also use it as a pattern as your cloth printing background. You want the material to look somehow seamless patterns, having some kind of floral design on it. All what you need to do is to use Photoshop. But if you are also good in Corel Draw, you can also use that to design your cloth material or Adobe Illustrator. You get that? Yes. So on this, I'm just going to guide you through on this particular simple cloth design in this particular Photoshop. Let's just go to our Photoshop and let's get it done. So there is my Photoshop, which I've already opened. So first of all, what I need to do is to create a background to create a document. Sorry. So with this, I'm just going to click new. You get that? Yes. So let's get this in clear. As if it is ready for printing, if you are doing it for a ready printing, all what you need to do is to design it based on the material that you are going to print it on. Either is 4x4 or 3x4, just depend on 1 yard. If 1 yard is 4x4, then you design it on 4x4. That's 4x4 feet. And if 1 yard maybe 3x4, you design it based on that, or it depends on the sizes. You get that? But for this, all what you need to do now is to design a preview of the cloth, how you want it to be. You get that? So with this, you can either use A3 or you can use A4. You get that? Anyhow you want it to be do for the preview of that particular cloth. You get that? So first of all, I'm going to use A4 over here. So this is A4 that I'm going to use. Is either you can't what should I say, you can make sure that is portrait, or you can also design it in a landscape form. You get that? But I can see that normal people are using landscape, so let us also change it to what? Landscape. 90 clockwise, like this is okay for us. You get that? Yes. So first of all what you need to do is to click on this, unlock this particular layer. We don't need it. You get that? We don't need it all, but all what we need to do is that we can delete it away. By deleting it away, because the layer panel, there is nothing apart from the background, it's not going to be done like that. You get that? So all what you need to do over there is that you can create a new layer like this, so that you can delete that particular white background away. You get that? Yes. So the next thing again you have to do, the next thing that you have to do over here is that after you have you do this, you have to start designing. So first of all, you have to come up with a pattern. You get that? This particular pattern, or you just have to come up with the shapes together to get this particular pattern. You get that? Yes. So for tutorial sake, I'm just going to wrap up with this. You get that? So first of all what I need to do is to go to my shapes tool over here, then I'll pick ellipse tool. That's the circle tool. You get that? And I'll hold my shift, and then I'll draw a perfect circle like this. It shouldn't have some kind of this thing. You get that? Yes. And with this, I think this is okay for me. So, and I'm going to type Control A, that's to select all the distance, and then I'll make sure that the circle is in the sector of the document. That's the A4 document. You get that? Yes. And then the next thing again I'm going to do, I'm using stroke, so I'm going to increase the stroke a little bit so that it will be somehow bigger. So let me use somewhere 50. Okay, 50 is okay, but it looks too big. You get it? Let me use somewhere 45. All right. Okay, based on this, let me just let me make it somehow, let me say 30. Okay, 30 is okay for me. You get that? Yes. So after when I do this, and that is 30, you get that, I'll make sure that I come up with a guideline so that the guideline, there is the sector of the distance, and I also ensure that this is in the sector. You get that. The next thing again I'm going to do is to go over to my tools, and then I'll pick a triangular tool over there. You get that. Then after that, when I do that, the next thing again I'm going to do over there is to come up with this, and then I'm just going to hold my shift and then draw this particular triangular distance over here. And this should be in the sector, just like that. It should start from the sector and end on top. You get that. So over this, I will also make the same stroke to be what, 30, so that it will be bigger over there. You get that. Yes. And then the next thing again I'm going to do over there is this particular this. I'm just going to duplicate it by typing Ctrl J to duplicate, and then I'll type Ctrl T, that's transformation, and then I'll right click on it, and then I'll flip it vertical so that the top will come down and the down will go top. That is just all. And then I'll move it to here so that it will be in that particular circle, just like that. You get that. So I'll make sure that I zoom out, and then it's in order. It should be in order like this. It should be in order just like this. You get that. Yes. And I think this is okay. Then I'm just going to select all, and then I make sure that this triangular is what is in the same line, and then this also should be there in the same line. You get that. Yes. And the next thing again I'm going to do over here is that I'm just going to duplicate this, and then by typing Ctrl J, and then I'll flip it around. So I'm just going to rotate it 90 clockwise, just like this, so that I'll have something like this over there. Yes. So after you are able to flip it around like this and you have something like this, the next thing you have to do is to match the shapes together. You get that, so that you can get the circle or the kind of shape, that custom shape you want. You get that. So after that, after all this is matched like this, yes, and as you can see, everything looks somehow different. You know, you can even use this as your pattern startup, depending on how you want it. Either you can color it here, and color it all this. You get that. But for me, this is how I want it to be done. So I'm just going to select all like this, or you can select all over here in the pattern over here. So, and then after you select everything like this, then you right click on the pattern and then come over here, match shapes. So you click once, so it will match the shapes like this, and that's okay. And it also looks somehow beautiful and somehow cool. You get that. Yes. The next thing again you have to do over there is to duplicate it by Ctrl J, and then you can hold your alternate and then move it in just like this. You get that. You just want some kind of pattern on it, so you have to move it in like this, and that's so cool. And then the next thing again you have to do is to duplicate it again and then move it in just like this. You want a pattern that will be very good to use on your cloth printing. You get that. Yes. So first of all, over this place, I'm just going to change the color to different color. You get that. So I'm going to click here and then change this color to black. You know, black is one of my favorite colors. I don't know why. And then over this place, I'm going to change that one to over there. I'm just going to change that one to black, and then the field I'm going to give it and black over there, and that's so cool. And then the next this thing over there, I'm just going to change the color. This one I'm just going to change the stroke to white, and then the field I'm going to give it a different color. And then on this particular different color, 2025, I came out with some kind of color B that I really like. So I'm just going to click on that and then see this color, whether it will be okay for me. I think this is okay, so I'm going to use color like this over there. You get that. Yes. So there is when you look at it, I'll only use 3 colors. That's black, and then white, and then this particular green, and this looks somewhat lemon green or something. You get that. Yes. And the next thing again I'm going to do is to click over the shapes tool over there, and then right click and go to custom shapes. You get that. On the custom shapes, I'm just going to look up. I'm going to use this particular shape over there, and then I'll hold my shift, and then to have this thing over there, and this will look somehow beautiful. You get that. So this, I'm going to transform it a little bit so that it will go inside this particular inner shape over there. So I'll make sure that it's inside, just like that. So that's so cool. And then all what I need to do over there is to change the color over there to what? To black. So I'm just going to use a black over there, and then I make sure that this thing goes inner. You get that? Yes, it should go inner so that it doesn't have to appear all this thing. No. So I just want to let it go inner, and I think this looks somehow cool. You get that? Yes. Okay, let me move it a little bit inner, I'm saying this. Okay, this is okay. Or I can decide to just click and then click a clipping mask in. So when I create a clipping mask in, it will be in only this. You get that? And that's so cool. You get that? Yes. And then after this, I am done with one part. So what I need to do over there is that I'm just going to hold my shift and select all, and then group it like this. You get that? Yes. Then after when I grouped it like this, the next thing I'm going to do over there is that I'm going to move this one to here. I'm just going to duplicate it, and let me type Control A, and then I'll move this one to this part, and then Control G, and then I'll move this one to this, and all what I need to do is to make sure that it's in line, just like this. It should be in line. Then I'll make sure that the edges are together, is facing equally together. You get that? Yes. And then I can have something like this over there, and then I'll make sure that I move it to the sector, just like this. You get that? Yes. So with this, I am coming out with some kind of pattern over there. So the next thing again I'm going to do over there is to hold my shift and then group all again, and then I'll duplicate it by Control G, and then I'll click, then I'll right click and then flip and rotate it 90 clockwise, just like this. You get that? Yes. And this looks so cool. And then I'll make sure that it's in the center, and then I'll move this one here, then I'll move this one too over here, and that looks so much cooler. You get that? Yes. Then I can have something like this. But you can see that some of the distance enter to each other, which I wouldn't like that. So what I need to do over there is that I'm just going to move it out a little bit. Okay. So while you are moving, you have to hold your shift and then the right arrow, 1 2 3 4. I think this is cool. And then this one, you do the same thing, 1 2 3 4, so that you can have a perfect alignment. And then 1 2 3 4, and then this one too, 1 2 3 4. So this looks somehow cool, and then you can now use this. So let me move it, and then I'll move this one over here too. Then I can have something like this over there. You get that? Yes. And it looks somehow cooler. So I can group all and then make sure that it's in a sector. It shouldn't be should not be in the center. It should be the center. You get that? Yes. So let me have something like this over there. Then I'll select one of it. I'm going to select first this one, and I make sure that I come out with a guideline, and this particular guideline should be in the center of this. That's so cool. And then I'll select this one too, and then make sure that this one should come over there. That's also cool. Then I'll open up this. Then I'm going to draw another one to be in the center of this, and then I'll select this one, then I'll do the same thing to this. You get that? Yes. So as you can see, I have come up with a guideline of over this particular shape. The center has a guideline, this one too, this one too, and this one too. That looks so much cool for me. So I'll just have like that, just have it like that, and I'll come to over here. I'll pick a tool called rectangular marquee tool. Then over here, I'm just going to draw something like this over there, and this looks so much cooler for me. You get that? Yes. And then the next thing again I'm going to do over there, after drawing that particular distance, I'll go to my edit, then I'll come to define pattern, then I'll click on that. Yes, on this I'll call it a ABM pattern. I just want to remember what pattern I've created, so I have to give it a name. So that's why I call it ABM pattern. Then I'll have something like this over there, and then I can deselect it, and it looks so much cool. Then I can close up this. You get that? Yes. So the next thing again I'm going to do over there is that I'm just going to let me have something like this over there so that you can see it very well. So over here, I'm just going to my adjustment layer over here. Then I'll click on. Then I'll come and click on pattern. You get that? Yes. Then I'll go over to the field and then select the pattern I want. This is what I created, so I'm just going to click on that, and this is what I'll have over there. You get that? This looks somewhat easy and cool. So over there, I'm just going to change the scale to somewhere 30 or 30. Okay, 30 is cool. Let me see, 40. It shouldn't be that this thing. Okay, let me use 30. 30 will be okay. Okay, this 30 is okay for there. You get that? Yes. Then I can have some kind of this pattern on it, and it looks somehow beautiful. You get that? Yes. The next thing again I'm going to do over there is to click over here and then come out with a background. I just want a different background for my cloth. This thing, it shouldn't be white, so I'll go over. So it depending on how you want your colors, and if you are work with the company colors. If the company has 3 colors, make sure you use that. Don't use any other color on it. So sometimes when I look at some people who design a this thing, at the end of the day they have to introduce different colors on, that is not a good practice of being a graphic designer. You get that? Yes. So then choose up, let me choose a black color to see. It's good, but it has hide some of the shapes, which is not perfect. So I have to choose this particular color over there, so that all my this thing would have to will come out very well. You see that? Yes. So when you look at this pattern, it looks somehow beautiful and somehow simple. You get that? Yes. Then after I done with all this, all what I need to do is to group that one two together, just like this. So this is my preview. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add up this thing, a company logo, and then maybe some kind of write-up on it. Just that all. You get that? Yes. So I'll come over here, then I'll select a tool over here, that's rectangular marquee tool. Then I'll just draw something like this over there. You get that? Yes. And then after that, I've drawn that particular distance, I'm going to give it a field of the same color I use as my background over there. Then I'll make sure that I make I'll round it, the shape edges left like that, and then I'm going to write something. I'm going to write something over there. So I'm just going to write ABM Academy, ABM Academy. Okay, ABM Academy. Let me zoom it. Let me make it like this so that you can see, and this one will go in there, and then I'll make sure that I make it somehow bigger. I'm just going to increase the size over there, just like that. So let me zoom out so that you can see. So this is ABM Academy. So on this, I'm going to give it a stroke, and that stroke should be black, like that. And then let me reduce the stroke a little bit. Let me use 20. Okay, 20 is okay. So we can have something like this over there. You get that? Yes. And then I make sure that I just select the name, the write-up, that's the text layer, and then the shape layer. Then I'll merge it. I'll just convert it to a smart object so that I can change it anyhow I want once. You get that? Yes. And then the next thing again I'm going to do is to come up with what is the name? Let me go to my this thing. okay, ABM, this is my first. I'll come out with I have started 2025. I started with these colors and it looks so much cool for me. So first of all, let me just tell you that if you have a ID card and it's over 1 million ID cards, if you have over 1 million ID cards to produce, you don't need to start entering the data one by one. This person name you enter, this picture you enter. No, all what you need to do is to contact me so that I can use a short time, a short moment, like a 1 week, to enter all this thing for you. And it's very easy. I have done that and I can do that. You get that? Yes. So I'm just going to pick up my this thing over here, and then I move it to this place, and this looks so much cool for me. So I'm just going to save it because it can easily spoil. Photoshop can easily crash. So let me save it. Yes, as we are working, you always save. You get that? Yes, for you not to get anything this thing. You get that? Yes. So over there, I'm going to choose this color over there, and that looks so much cool for me. And then the logo, I'm just going to give it a stroke. So I'll click over there, then I make sure that the stroke will be black. Yes, so that the logo can come up very well. You get that? See? So I can have something like this over there, and then let me make the stroke somewhere 30, and that looks so much cool. This is just a preview. This is just a tutorial sake, so I don't need to make it somehow this thing. So I'll make sure that I right click and then convert that one to a smart object. There's like that, and then I'll save. That looks so cool. Always save. You know, graphic designers, their best friend is Control Z and then Control what S. Yes, and that looks so much cool. So I can have it somewhere here. That looks okay, and then I'll move this one to this. Yes, and that one to look somehow cool, and then I'll make sure that I transform it a little bit so that it will be that bigger. Yes, so I'll have it somewhere like that. Then I'll duplicate it and move this one to this place, and then the last one I'm going to give out the what is the name, the logo. Only the logo should come over here. You get that? Yes. And then the next thing again I'm going to do over there is that I'm just going to select this, and then select this, and then select that, and then I'll select this, and then I'll duplicate it. I'll duplicate it like that. Then I make sure that I move it here, and then it should match with this. You get that? It's just a pattern that you are creating. So, and it should be uniform, and it should have some kind of this thing on that. So this one should have this, no matter even whether it has cut it, don't worry, it's just a material. Even the tailor itself has to cut it all around, so you just have to do that. And then I'll duplicate everything, then I'll move that one to this place, and it looks somehow beautiful. And then the next thing again I'm going to do is to duplicate it again, then I'll move it to this place, and this looks good. So after I have all this, I'm just going to select all of them just like that, then I'll group it like that. You get that? Yes. Then I can have something like this over there. So I'm just going to type Control A and make sure that this particular destination, it should be in the center just like that, but I'll make sure that I move it in just like this, and then in just like that, and then I'll move this one over here, and this one should be over here, and this looks somewhat beautiful. And as you can see, the colors, this is the company color of ABM, and this is okay for me. So I have to work with my colors so that it will look so much beautiful. So after I have something like this, I am done with this thing. You get that? Yes. So I can group it together just like that, and then I'll do what? I'll save. This looks so much beautiful. So let us use a mockup. I'm just going to look up for a mockup over here. A mockup. Where is my mockups? I have some mockups over here. All right, let me see. Okay, let me look for this. Okay, this looks beautiful. I just want a mockup. Okay, this mockups is beautiful. This mockups, all these mockups is beautiful. All these mockups is beautiful. So let me pick up this mockup. I've already done that. So this mockup was downloaded from Mockup Free. So this mockup is beautiful for me. So let me first check on how my cloth printing, my cloth material, how it's going to be. So I'm just going to click Ctrl Shift Alternate E so that I can match up my design. Then I'll move it to this. You get that? Yes. Then I'll make sure that everything should come out very well. So I just have to do this, and this will look somehow cool. Then I'll make sure that it's in the top. Then I'll duplicate that and make sure that that one too is down, so that I can have something like this over there. And then let me move it inner. Let me move it so that it will join this thing over here, and that one will look somehow beautiful for me. And then with this I'm okay. Then I can move it just like this, and this looks somehow beautiful. So I can save my work. I just want to see the preview of the cloth I've designed, so I have to put it in a mockup to see how beautiful it will be. And I'll do the same thing to the top over here. So I'll do the same thing to the top over here, and I'll make sure that it should have the same distance, just like that. Then I'll save my work. You get that? It's saving. It has to save and update. You get that? Yes. So I'll check on my distance. So okay, this looks somewhat beautiful. So you can use any kind of let me do the same thing to the inside of the material of that particular shirt. This is the inside, so I'll have it just like that, and it should have the same, it should be uniform, you know. It shouldn't have, somewhere shouldn't be bigger and somewhere shouldn't be smaller. You get that? Yes. You know, when you are working with this for any company, you have to make sure that everything is uniform. You get that? And then let me use the color of the material, and I can have something like this. Okay, all black is beautiful, and I want to use all this one too is beautiful, but deep blue is not in my color, so I have to use black, or I have to use these colors, and this looks so much beautiful. So as you can see, it's looking good and nice. So let me come up with you know, with this you can decide to use what is the name, you can decide to use any color. Maybe you can decide to use any color, depending on color that will come up well, so that people can see the mock-up of your distance. So with that, this one, you just need to walk around all your colors to see which one should be beautiful, and then you can use it. That's just all. You get that? Yes. So I think this is okay, and then the mock-up looks somehow beautiful. You get that? Yes. So every information has come up, and anyone who sees it will know that this particular cloth is for ABM Academy. You get that? Yes. So this is how cloth printing is. Cloth printing with the design. You have to start with the pattern, how the pattern you want it, and make sure a lot of companies have their pattern. They have the kind of shape they use. They have the, so any company that don't have all this, it may be that the person who designed their logo was not that professional in a way that, because before you start designing a logo for a company, you have to come out with all this. You have to come out with a brand manual, the colors you use, the fonts, everything. They should know about that. You get that? Yes. So that anyone who is going to work on any design will be able to understand it. You get that? Yes. So this is how cloth design is designed with ABM Graphics. Thank you very much for watching. This is ABM Graphics, and have a nice day. Bye bye.